So the Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie union and subsequent separation is something that I followed very closely. Because of my connection to the other side, my perspective of what happened is very different from other people's. I would watch the twists and turns of their relationship and see people casting shame, judgment, opinion on them and their situation, when the entire time I was like, that makes sense, and that makes sense. Why? Because the other side was completely behind it every step of the way. When Brad Pitt was still married to Jennifer Aniston, the angelic realm looked at their marriage and decided that they wanted to break him up. If you are not soulmates, they will break you up in a New York minute, especially because of life purpose. Life purpose comes first. Let me say that again. Life purpose comes first. Everything else is just red tape. They want you to have love. They want to bring love onto your path. They want you to have healing. They want you to have a companion. But the highest virtue is self-love, so they're really big on self-love, remember? And they're also really big on life purpose, which is how you can use your God-given gifts to help humanity, right? So based on life purpose coming first, they decided that they could bring somebody onto Jennifer Aniston's path whose life purpose was closely aligned with hers, and who they could bring somebody onto Brad Pitt's path whose life purpose was more closely aligned to his. So broke them up. How'd they break them up? Introducing a third party, pulled Brad Pitt away. Now, people are going to vilify him for that. You big cheater, right? I never judged him for that. I was like, yep. They brought Angie on your path because she's your soulmate. And they brought Angie on your path because your life purposes match. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to adopt a bunch of children together. You're supposed to be philanthropists together. Brad Pitt was speaking out about Katrina, right? Hurricane Katrina. Angie is a goodwill ambassador. And so they came together and started working for the light. They did what they were supposed to do. They came together, fell in love, and they started working for the light, right? Adopting all these kids, doing all this good. That's what they were supposed to do. They were working for the light, right? Now, let's call a spade here, folks. These two people have plenty of money. They could be floating on a yacht somewhere, right? Having people feed them grapes. They don't need to be in an orphanage in Namibia, sleeping on the ground or whatever. They choose to do that. That is their heart-focused work. That's their passion. That's their soul. That's their soul wanting to help humanity, wanting to use their influence and power and notoriety for good, right? So what is the light doing? Bravo! You go. You go. So at this point, the relationship has universal support. So the universe is going to keep these guys together, right? However, what's my new tagline? We are all superheroes. We're all battling forces of good and evil, right? Angel on this shoulder, devil on this shoulder. In between is our free will, right? Which way is our head going to tilt that day? We're all superheroes. So if Brad and Angie are working for the light, guess what that makes them? A bigger target for the dark. The dark's going to go after them. Now, how are they going to go after them? They're going to look at their weaknesses. So what did they do? They looked at Brad and they're like, ooh, we can get to him. You know how we're going to get to Brad? Alcohol. Let's introduce some toxins, because we can easily influence Brad if we can fill his body with toxins. And that's what they did. So Brad starts drinking alcohol. It negatively affects his connection to his higher self. Remember, guys? The higher self, the part of your soul that lives on the other side, that's directly connected to the divine, that's your inner angel. It's your inner angel. Toxins interfere with your connection to your inner angel. So makes it easier for the dark to get in there and influence you. So what happened to Brad? Ingest these toxins, and it ends up changing his behavior because his connection to his higher self sucks at this point. not doing what he's supposed to be doing, not working for the light, not pursuing his life purpose, and basically not making the angelic realm happy. So in doing this, Brad ends up pulling on Angelina Jolie's vibration. He ends up pulling her down. So what is he doing? He's pulling her away from the light and pulling her away from what she's supposed to be doing. So the angelic realm's looking at this like, no, dude. You guys have a job to do. Life purpose comes first. Life purpose comes first. If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing to help humanity, the other side ain't going to be happy about it. Now, this is where it gets funky. Angelina Jolie, married at this point to Brad, with kids, with a lot of kids. Big responsibility. I don't want to break up my family. That's their dad. Come on. You know, I love him. I don't want to just turn my back on him. So now she has a decision to make, right? Self-love. At that point, the light is hoping that Angelina Jolie makes a decision based in self-love, because self-love is always supported by universal energies. Why? Why are decisions based in self-love always supported by universal energies? Because if your romantic partner isn't treating you the way they're supposed to be treating you because they're ingesting toxins and they're being influenced by the dark, it means their influence by the dark is creeping over to you. And it's influencing you. So now, via your partner, you are being influenced and affected by the dark. And you're lowering. Your vibration is lowering and it's pulling you away from the light. So you're being pulled away from the light. What if all of a sudden you're like, this isn't working for me. Self-love. Psht. No, when Angie made that decision based in self-love to separate out, what happened? Light just separated from dark. So if you're ever in a given situation where you make a decision based in self-love, light just separated out from dark. That's what she did. That's what she did. Now, her decision based in self-love, while some people could judge her for, they could judge her for that. It takes two to tango, sweetheart. Miss Jolie, I'm sure you're no angel. I'm sure it's both your faults. And you know what? It's like nobody's perfect. Okay? Nobody's perfect. Brad's not an angel. Angie's not an angel. Nobody's perfect. All right? I'm not trying to vilify Brad. I'm just telling you, this is the deal. This is what happened. Nobody's perfect, you guys. Takes two to tango, okay? So Angie makes that decision based in self-love. And like I said, decisions based in self-love are always supported by universal energies. So what happens? Angelina Jolie is rewarded for that decision. She has become an energetic match for good things via the law of attraction. Her soul is a magnet. So she, since she made this decision based in self-love, has attracted more love from the universe as a result to herself. And so now she's an energetic match for good things. So while she is an energetic match for good things, you know, of the light, self-love, right? Concern for her children, right? Worrying about them too, you know, paying attention to them, right? The other side looks at this and they're like, well, life purpose comes first, Miss Angelina. So we're going to replace Brad with another person who's aligned with your life purpose. And what did they do? They brought a philanthropist billionaire onto her path. They brought somebody with money, power, and philanthropy onto her path to get her back on track with her life purpose. So now she's dating somebody who is aligned with her life purpose again and the light and supporting her and the, goodwill ambassador and, traveling to foreign countries and whatever and doing good, right? So they just flat out replaced Brad with this philanthropist guy, right? I don't know if that's going to work out. I have no idea. And we have free will, but that is the strategy right here, right now. That's what they're doing. So meanwhile, Brad is a victim of his own free will because it was his free will to ingest those toxins. So the other side holds Brad accountable for doing that. The other side holds Brad accountable for his connection to his higher self or lack thereof. They hold him accountable for the ingestion of toxins. They hold him accountable for his behavior, his free will decisions, whatever. We have free will, but free will has consequences. So he's being held accountable. So, Mr. Pitt, if you're watching this video, I actually am a fan, even though you might be giving me the middle finger right now. I actually am a fan of yours. My advice: throw the toxins in the trash and focus on helping other people. Focus on your life purpose. Focus on philanthropy. Focus on things that you love and make you happy and raise your vibration. Listen to some music. Watch my YouTube video called Music is Your Friend. Raise your vibration. Get back in touch with the angelic realm and your higher self. Make decisions based in self-love. I don't know what to say to you, Mr. Pitt. They replaced you. You weren't doing what you were supposed to be doing, man. They replaced you. We have free will, but free will has consequences. You can do whatever you want to do. But free will has consequences, and your relationship to Angie no longer had universal support, so they broke you up. On purpose. They broke you up on purpose. And to everyone else watching this video, please believe me when I tell you life purpose comes first. Married, kids, whatever. Life purpose comes first. That's why we're here. Soul contracts, right? To help others. How are you going to serve humanity? Life purpose comes first. And I'm sure, Brad's angels are around him, sending him healing, love and light, trying to protect him, trying to raise his vibration, try to help his broken heart. And really, get him back on track again. Because when I look at the situation, it's like the light brought you together for a reason, and the light separated you for a reason. So, we have more than one soulmate, just so you guys know. If something happens with soulmate number one, the light is more than able to bring soulmate number two onto your path. That is well within their power. They know exactly who a good match is for you. As a matter of fact, that's one of their favorite things to do. Stick somebody in front of me and say, here, play with him. You'll like him. Okay. And then we always end up having like so much in common, and it actually freaks me out. It's pretty cool though. But, look at the themes here, you guys. Life purpose, self-love, free will, vibrational states. They take that very seriously. You guys, I did a reading where they didn't really feel like the person appreciated their husband. And so they did the same thing. They brought a third party onto their path, and, meanwhile, she's vilified when it was like done on purpose to break him up. Things aren't always what they seem. Sometimes you got to look a little closer and really see the dynamics going on here. I think that's another thing is when people separate out from one another, you tend to think like, oh, it's the end of the world. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not the end of the world. Sometimes people separate out and get a divorce or whatever, and then they end up, with a better match. So you never know what the future holds, which is why optimism is so important, because the other side feeds off of your optimism. It puts gas in their tank. It's like you're manifesting, right? So being optimistic and hopeful about the future actually really does help attract wonderful and amazing things to yourself. So if you find yourself in a situation, I implore you to see the beauty in the mess, because, you know, things might actually turn out better for you in the end, right? So I felt compelled to make this video because I wanted to use Brad and Angie as an example, just so you guys could learn from it. And I implore you, the next time you're reading the tabloids, before you form opinions about what's going on, take a minute to look closer. And in the meantime, take care and be well. Thank you